Elevation. Today we have our special guest who is Emmet Mitchell. Emmet is an author, a mentor, real estate investor, and executive director of the Milestones Agency of Metro Detroit. Welcome. How are you today?
Wonderful, Kim. Thank you for having me on Electric Elevation.
Good, good. So today I'm going to talk with you regarding the book that you wrote, which is The War on Poverty, Ignorance, and Depression. Also, we will discuss real estate investment and your program, Milestones Agency of Metro Detroit. So let's start off with you speaking a bit about your book on poverty and depression.
All right, so Game on Consignment, The War on Poverty, Ignorance, and Depression was written and published in 2010. I developed the idea to write this book based on the experiences that I had leading up to that point in my life. It actually started out as an autobiography. And I said to myself, no one really knows who you are. It's probably better to do something to rebuild the community that you helped destroy, which we could probably talk about a little bit later. But ultimately, I came to the conclusion that to write a self-help, community development, and self-development book would be in my best interest to start to a road of healing, not just for myself, but for the community that I kind of helped destroy a little bit, and for the family members that I wanted to just apologize for putting them through the anguish of having to endure some of the things that they had to endure as I grew out of my darkness, so to speak.
Okay, wonderful. Now, with that being said, what do you think, like today, everybody is so hung up on social media. What do you think about social media and how the role that it plays with wealth and the way people view poverty?
So Game on Consignment there's 11 chapters, and one of the chapters is actually solely focused on building wealth and understanding how to invest in yourself and using your ideas, your time, talent, and treasure to build wealth for your people. Okay. And I think that social media can be a good support platform in building wealth and communicating ideas to your people that they need to understand in order to grow. But it also can be a major distraction if it is not used correctly. And so oftentimes we'll see people not using the social media platforms correctly, and it will continue to perpetuate it'll continue to perpetuate bad information. It'll perpetuate the concepts of living below the poverty line and not understanding how to build wealth and not really understanding who you are because you are so enamored with being involved in something that is not real. And social media can become a not real thing, so to speak. You can become so heavily invested in social media that you are not invested in the real world. And you are satisfied with the things that social media gives you on a daily basis. And so you're no longer hungry for the benefits of what real world work can provide for you.
Okay. Now, for a person that's been in a negative environment and things of that nature, what is one of the first things a person can do to break the cycle, to be more educated about wealth and how to manage their money better? What's one of the first things that they can do?
So in our Own Your Own Everything Wealth Building workshops, which oftentimes we provide these workshops to the community for free, the first thing that we talk about in the first few slides is you are what you eat, drink, and think. The things that we put in our mind and inside of our bodies, and then how that information manifests itself into our thoughts is heavily correlated with how successful we are in our businesses, how successful we are in our relationships, how successful we are in building the things that we deem to be important. And so ultimately, at the end of the day, we have to understand that correlation, one, and then two, if we want something different, we have to change what goes inside of our minds and what goes inside of our bodies. So for me, personally, I try to go through an evaluation process of the self consistently to determine where I want to go and what I want. I've learned that most people don't have what they want in life because they don't know what they want in life. We expose ourselves to so much conflicting information that we never really come to understand who we are as individuals. And the concept of knowing thyself or knowledge of self is just it's a basic African principle of understanding who you are and what you want out of life. And a gentleman that I was having a conversation one day with once told me that the two most important questions you're going to ask yourself is, what do you want to do with your life, and who do you want to do it with? And we are not challenging ourselves to elevate our thinking and elevate our production. Life is about creating, life is about production, life is about building things, building families, building institutions, building wealth, and all of these things. We have become very distracted with all other things that have nothing to do with creating and building. And then when we find ourselves wanting something, we find ourselves with the inability to gain control of those things because we don't have the resources or capital because we didn't spend time acquiring that resource and capital.
Right. So why do you think there are not more like training programs about wealth and things of that nature in our community especially?
Well, since America's inception, the goal, the institutions that brought us here, the sole purpose was to create wealth using our resources. And so if you are going to bring a group of people to a country to utilize their bodily resources, you're not going to teach them how to be economically forward at any point in history, because even after you're done with them, you still need to use them to continue to be the burden bearers so you can continue on your quest to build wealth. So this country has never taught the black man and the black woman and the black family in America how to be economically forward, because to do that would be to create competition. And that is not how America operates. And I think it's important for us to understand that. I'm glad you asked that question, because the things that we need to know and understand about money have never been taught to us. And when the individuals who learn it are responsible for teaching it to the next generation. Making money and building wealth is two different things. Mm-hmm. There are a lot of people in America, particularly black families, who make a lot of money, but they still are being paid by the oppressor that will condition their mind to turn around and spend that same money that they earned back with that oppressor and not use that money as a financial resource to build wealth within the community. And so we are economically backwards because no one has ever taught us to be economically forward. And who will train? How can someone who is economically backward themselves teach other people how to be economically forward? But that is the reason why we have the Own Your Own Everything Wealth Building Workshop, because it teaches the attendees how to build wealth and how to abstain from the things that will slow down the wealth building process, particularly conspicuous consumption, spending your money in places you shouldn't be spending it, with people you shouldn't be spending it with, and with people who don't care about you, building businesses in your community, and making sure that your dollar bounces in your community multiple times, similar to other cultures.
Okay. So can you just talk a little bit about the importance of having and maintaining credit as well?
Okay, well, so I have non-traditional views on credit. Okay. I look at credit cards, borrowing money to go to college, car notes, and mortgages as debt monsters. Okay. And if they're not used correctly, which most times they are not, they will destroy your ability to build wealth. And revolutionary wealth building would have an individual not borrow money for those things. You want to own your car cash, in my opinion, because by getting a car note and not building wealth with that vehicle is moving backwards. So, for example, if you buy a truck brand new and you put a plow on it and you use it to remove snow, you are making money with that vehicle. Right. But if you buy a Corvette to have fun, you have just thrown money away. And so I advocate against credit. I advocate against borrowing money. Now, if an individual is intelligent and they build good lines of credit and they become credit worthy and they use that money and leverage that credit to build wealth, then I am all for that. Because the reality is that this country owes us a grave debt, right? And so to loan someone some money to build a business, I am not against that. but I am absolutely against borrowing money to buy cars, borrowing money to go to college if you don't absolutely know for certain what you are trying to accomplish with the degree. I'm against borrowing money to buy homes unless it's a specific and specific and beneficial situation. Now, what I mean by that is you buy a house that's worth $200,000, you borrow, and they want to sell it for $100,000. So you need to borrow $100,000 to buy a house that can net you a $200,000 gain. I'm okay with that. I'm for building wealth by making thy dwelling a profitable place, meaning your home is owned debt free and you own it cash, and you use the concept of paying yourself rent as a way to build investment capital. But if a person is intelligent financially, which most of us are not, that's the reality, it is important to make sure that we don't borrow money to have fun. I think that that's very important. I cannot state that enough.
Okay. That's a great different perspective and outlook. Your views that you just stated, that's awesome. Now, can you explain the importance of investing in real estate? So you just, spoke about why you shouldn't, get things for fun, but what's the importance of, investing, and should a person start off small? What's one of the first things a person should do if they wanted to invest in real estate?
So the first thing that a person should do is invest in their own home. Okay. Buy their own home. Get yourself comfortable in your own home. Your largest monthly debt obligation will always be where you lay your head. And if you can secure your home and make your home a debt-free dwelling, it will open up investment capital opportunities. And I never say start small. You start where your ideas lead you. Okay. And if you think big, you start big. Oftentimes, small things grow into big things, but sometimes people have ideas of grandeur and those things manifest themselves. It's really about how hard you work and how bad you want it. Investing in property should be a black family's number one priority, land and property, because the actual US dollar, that rectangular piece of paper, is worth nothing. And if you have a lot of that sitting around, you will find out one day that it is worth nothing. And you don't want to be the person that has hundreds of thousands of rectangular pieces of paper laying around, and you did not invest it in something that was tangible like this wall, this building, and you find out that it is worthless. Because once you purchase this building, you know that this building is worth something, even if it protects you from the rain.
Right, and it'll bring you income.
It has a value. And so it is important for us to understand how to take investment capital, transform our money into wealth. Wealth is the thing that we are trying to acquire. Being rich is loud, being wealthy is quiet.
Awesome. Now, what is one of the biggest mistakes a person can make that is not completely educated with real estate investment? So if they had money to acquire something, what are the things they should look for? Because you got a lot of scam artists, people selling stuff that they don't really own, that's in foreclosure. So how do people avoid things of that nature?
Well, we talk a lot about how to purchase real estate and how to protect yourself from making mistakes that can cost you your investments or that can damage the investment portfolio. But for the purpose of this podcast, I want the listeners to understand something that is very important. No matter what you do in regards to investing, you must learn that field. And so Dr. Boyce Watkins talks about it all the time. Educating yourself to exhaustion in the area that you want to invest. And so if it's real estate, you need to learn real estate. The biggest mistake that I made in real estate was refinancing multiple properties at one time. So remember when I talked about borrowing money to have fun?
Right.
Well, I made the error in refinancing property and then reinvesting some of that money, but not reinvesting enough of it to leverage the loan, if you follow what I'm saying. And so traditionally, good business sense is to borrow to leverage to build wealth. If we're borrowing to have fun, borrowing to buy a car, borrowing to get all F's in college, borrowing to purchase boots via your credit card, or borrowing money to buy more house than we can afford, then we are moving backwards. We are being economically backwards. And ultimately, the goal is to not to strengthen the oppressor and the people that cause you angst and issues and challenges throughout your history of being in this country, but to be able to stand on your own and build self-determination and actually challenge those oppressive systems or tear them down so you can build your own. But that requires that you are money smart, money conscious, and you are building wealth. But not just building wealth, you are building institutions, building schools, hospitals, farms, grocery stores. But it takes wealth to do those things. But getting back to the question, my personal biggest mistake was not understanding how to leverage a refinancing large sums of money. But I encourage anyone who is going to invest in real estate to learn every single thing that they can about it and then be brave.
Okay. Now, you're the director of the Milestones Agency in Metro Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
How does a person find this program or enroll in it? Can you tell me more about that?
Well, a few ways. One, you can call 313-444-2055. That is our direct office number. Or you can reach us on our website at www.themilestonesagency.org, or you can email us at info@themilestonesagency.org. Our Survivor Success and Leadership Training Program services young boys ages 11 to 18, but we have a multitude of programs, summer programming. We normally would have a summer camp and drug prevention camp for younger boys, and we just purchased our own building. And so we're getting ready to embark upon a huge crowdfunding campaign where the community can help us create a state-of-the-art environment for black boys. And with all of the issues and challenges that are going on in the city of Detroit with our young men, it is incumbent upon everybody to come to the support of the Milestones Agency, help us build an institution for them that will give them the proper foundation of education, wealth building, and male role responsibility that they will need so they can be assets in our community as opposed to liabilities.
Okay, and where are you located at?
We're located at 19321 West Chicago. We're moving out of that space. We had been inside Don Bosco Hall for the last 8 years, but as I said, we're building our own space. We're going to keep where the space is located private just for a little while longer because we got some other videos and podcasts coming down the pike to talk about all of that. Mm-hmm. But we will be in our new space come July of 2019. We will start the rehab and the remodeling around March of 2019.
Okay. While you're in the process of transitioning, though, people can still come on Chicago to enroll in one of those programs?
Absolutely. They can come to the front desk. They will get someone in touch with us, or they can reach us at the 3 contact points that I just gave.
Okay. Yeah. Now, do you have any final thoughts or takeaways that you wanted to leave us with today?
Absolutely. So a few things. So our agency has our Own Your Own Everything wealth building workshops. If you are interested in those, teaching groups how to build wealth and how to eliminate debt. This is not credit repair. This is eliminating debt through going through the proper process of making smart money decisions and understanding why we make bad money decisions in the first place, and then kind of cleaning up those thoughts and building wealth by understanding how to turn our income into investment capital. So the Own Your Own Everything wealth building workshops, very important. Reach us if you're interested in those. If you are interested in contributing anything to the remodeling and rehab to our state-of-the-art school, the Survivor Success and Leadership Training Institute for Black Boys, contact us. Please do so. Or if you just want more information about our programs, contact us. And our investment programs have put us in a position to build 2 investment groups, the Milestones Agency Property Management Group, and then the 5 Points Property Management Group. And so if you want any information on real estate, on how to get started, or anything like that, call us at 313-444-2055.
Okay, thank you very much. So I will also, at the end of this podcast, I'll have all of his information listed as far as the phone numbers and the website information. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure to have you today and Absolutely. To give that great knowledge that is well needed.
My pleasure.
All right. Thank you so much.